A mafia gang is meeting a dealer in a hotel to purchase a special item. Suddenly, police arrive, and the mafia tries to escape. The dealer hides the item in a drawer and follows the mafia. The mafia suddenly disappears in the kitchen. To evade the agents, the dealer jumps from the hotel balcony and dies. Meanwhile, a hotel cleaning staff girl opens the drawer and finds an item made of unknown metal debris. She touches it and suddenly disappears, falling through the floor and dying on the spot. Elsewhere, a woman driving with her son on the highway suddenly experiences bleeding eyes and loses consciousness. Her son opens the car door and the woman starts floating into the air. Back at the hotel, MI6 agent Finola and CIA agent Brian arrive with a team of scientists to carefully collect the radioactive debris for research. The next morning, they arrive at the scene and find the woman trapped by a steel wire fence, floating in the air. Brian frees her, but the body floats in the opposite direction of the wind. Following her, they discover many more bodies floating like a tornado. A team of scientists examines the bodies. Dr. Sharon informs Brian and Finola that these people are alive, but they have no heartbeat, and their minds and bodies are completely synchronized with each other. The officers check the CCTV footage and identify the boy who was with the floating woman. The boy, named Karen, is not the woman's son. She had only given him a lift. They trace Karen to his house and find his mother's dead body nearby. Brian discovers a large piece of debris in the forest, which is causing many people in the area to disappear and die. Finola contacts Karen's sister, Ayla, who tells them that her brother is missing. Ayla is shocked because her brother died in a car accident 7 months ago, surprising the officers. Meanwhile, Karen encounters an old lady who offers to help him find his mum and gives him a lift. Finola investigates the debris and starts having visions of her deceased mother. That night, Ayla tells Brian and Finola that her mother had been depressed for 6 months. However, a week ago, her mother called her, seemed happy, and invited her home. But the next day, she told Ayla not to come. Hearing this, Brian and Finola deduce that Karen returned a week ago due to the debris' abilities. Finola realizes that when she was near the debris, she had memories of her dead mother. She concludes that the debris can manifest people who have a deep emotional connection with someone when they think about them. Karen's mother was grieving deeply for her son's death, which is why he manifested or came back to life. However, Karen needs energy to stay alive, so he puts people into comas by draining their energy. Brian receives a message from an agent stating that a woman has been spotted with Karen, and they are tracking them. Meanwhile, the Mafia and his friend return to the area near the debris. An agent spots them, and the Mafia suddenly teleports and disappears, shooting his friend in the process. The gunshot is heard by the police, who rush to the scene and find the Mafia's friend stuck in a wall. Finola and Brian track Karen to a gas station. Brian questions an old lady in the shop who keeps insisting that Karen is her son and refuses to listen to Brian. Suddenly, she starts bleeding, goes into a coma, and begins to float. Meanwhile, Karen uses his powers to control Finola, making her drive away in a car. Brian quickly returns to the lab and calls Ayla, explaining that her mother's grief brought Karen back to life, and that Karen drains energy from people when he touches them. He tells Ayla that to send Karen back, she must speak to her mother, who can hear her despite being in a coma. Ayla tells her mother that she needs her, and although she has lost her brother, she does not want to lose her parents. Ayla's words work, and her mother, along with everyone else affected, regains consciousness, breaking their connection with the debris. Finola, who is with Karen at that moment, sees him disappear as well. Afterward, Finola returns and is checked by the team. She tells Brian that when she was under the control of the debris, it felt peaceful, like a dream world. Brian's superior informs him that the Mafia member found near the debris was last seen with Finola's father, George Jones. This means that Finola's father, the same astrophysicist who was first to discover about the falling debris, is still alive, contrary to what she was led to believe, and MI6 might be hiding this information. The next day, in a small village, metal objects like cars and cylinders are being mysteriously pulled toward one spot. Brian and Finola arrive to investigate. Finola mentions that she has been in the area for 3 weeks since coming from London and has been trying to call her sister, but the phone doesn't work. She shares this with Brian as they start their investigation. However, since Brian found out that Finola's father is alive, he is wary of trusting Finola. He doesn't tell her that her father is alive and associated with the Mafia. At the investigation site, an agent informs them that the villagers have been relocated to a safe location. Despite the metal being drawn to one spot, there is no magnetic field effect, and no debris has been found. Meanwhile, at the orbital agency, Brian's superior, Maddox, meets another agent named Harris. Harris asks Maddox if George, Finola's father, is alive, and Maddox confirms it. Later, Maddox has a meeting with Priya, Finola's superior from MI6. Priya mentions that the Mafia who keeps teleporting is part of a group called Influx. They need to quickly identify who is behind it. Although Maddox has seen George with these dealers, he doesn't disclose this information. Back in the village, Brian and Finola encounter a civilian named Eric, who appears panicked and possibly under the influence of debris. Other officers take him away, and Brian and Finola continue their investigation. To their surprise, they see Eric again near a car. When they approach him, Eric runs away. They follow him to a warehouse, and to their surprise, both end up encountering Eric in different locations inside. Additionally, the police report that the Eric they initially caught is also with them. This means there are 3 Erics. They are questioned in different locations. Each clones had different personalities, but during the interrogation, 2 clones are killed through heart attack. The clone that Finola was investigating survives, and he tells her about a girl he have to find. The team gets Eric's details and home address and heads there. Brian goes down to the basement and discovers a very large piece of debris. Finola hears something outside and goes to check and encounters another clone of Eric. As Brian heads back upstairs, he sees a clone of himself and prepares to kill it, but the original Brian shoots it first. The entire team arrives, and Brian warns them not to go to the basement without wearing protective suits. Finola notices Eric's blood marks, indicating that the original Eric must not have gone far. While outside, Finola receives a call from her sister, Dee, who speaks to her rudely because Finola didn't visit after their father's death and has been busy with work. Despite the tension, they talk and resolve their issues. Brian examines the dead body of his clone and finds a photo of a girl in its pocket. Finola asks about the girl, but Brian ignores the question. Meanwhile, the team in the basement struggles to control the debris. Suddenly, strange noises come from the rooms above as 2 of Eric's clones converge into one. Then they head to the metal wall where all the cars are trapped. Using a device, Brian locates Eric's car and finds Eric trapped inside. As Brian attempts to rescue him, the debris senses danger and starts generating large shockwaves, trapping Brian and Eric in the car. As the shockwaves intensify and threaten their lives, the team at the base manages to stop the debris after much difficulty, and the waves cease. Brian then frees Eric from the car. Eric explains that the debris suddenly fell near his house. He was emotionally distressed because his wife had broken up with him and was leaving. To fulfill his longing, the debris created multiple clones of him in an attempt to stop her from leaving. This might also explain why the debris caused all the metal in the city to converge in one spot to stop her wife from living the city. Eric realizes he needs to call her wife himself. He calls her and asks her to come back. Brian updates Maddox, telling him that Finola last saw her father in the morgue. Maddox is going to dig the grave to confirm it. A woman working near an electric tower is using a walkie-talkie, but its signal becomes weak. She sees a rectangle shape forming in a field, and a strange portal appears. As she approaches, she sees shadows, gets scared, and calls the police. Finola hears a strange girl's voice on the radio, saying she can see them. Finola realizes the voice comes from the portal. The girl, Nicole Hegman, is asking for help, and it seems there are many more people other than her. Finola communicates with Nicole, who claims to be alone. Suddenly, Nicole screams, and the portal closes. Brian finds Nicole Hegman's records and discovers she disappeared in 2019. This is shocking because debris has been falling on Earth for only 6 months. The next morning, Maddox meets Tarko Lob, a Russian, and shows him footage of debris to sell him. US and UK are collecting debris to make advanced technologies, but Maddox is secretly selling debris on the black market illegally. Brian and Finola discuss why they only heard Nicole's voice in the portal. Finola suggests everyone might be on different frequencies. She recalls her father's theory that there are different worlds in the universe, some are large and some small, but there are access points on Earth to reach them. Brian thinks Nicole might be in another dimension and now visible because of the debris. Brian watches a video of Finola's father explaining access points on a map. There are 11 access points, many portal location matches where people went missing. Brian and Finola discuss with a scientist how to keep the portal open to help Nicole. They notice the portal's signals are strong when Nicole is emotional. They call Nicole's father to the site to help Nicole. Nicole's father starts calling for her, and the portal opens again, and both become emotional. Nicole explains she was in a parking lot when a storm trapped her. She describes a glass-like barrier and seeing people's shapes. She tells them that many hours have passed since she got trapped. This means time passes different inside the glass portal because many years have passed since she disappeared, but for her it's just hours. The portal suddenly disappears. Brian asks why it didn't stay open long, and the scientist says it needs debris to remain open. At the same time, Maddox's colleague Harris warns him about the Russian agent Tarko Lob. Maddox is worried because he's involved in selling alien technology to him. At another location, Brian's team informs him that they found a piece of debris some kilometers away. They immediately travel to this site, where they find a car parked next to the debris, indicating someone else has been there before them. It turns out to be the Russian mafia, who quickly disappear upon seeing Brian's team. The scientists examine the debris and determine that it can open a portal even when far from its access point. They theorize that the alien ship's technology included a navigation module for intergalactic or interdimensional travel, allowing aliens to travel between galaxies or dimensions. Although the debris has limited power, it can still open nearby access points. This indicates that alien technology is advanced, enabling travel between different worlds or galaxies using access points across the universe. The debris' presence on Earth has activated a nearby portal. Since the debris is still active, the scientists plan to send it to their office for further study. However, Finola argues against this, suggesting they should use the technology to bring people like Nicole and others back to Earth. Finola insists that if they don't use this advanced technology to help people, they are unworthy of it. The scientists reluctantly agree. They also find another piece of debris, which is inactive and not releasing any energy. The team brings both pieces of debris to the portal area and repositions the main debris to gradually open the portal. Finola watches as the portal becomes visible, but no one is able to cross it yet. The portal begins to close again, but following Finola's suggestion, they place the other debris into the portal. This causes the portal to open, allowing Finola to bring Nicole and others out of the portal. Nicole's father is overjoyed to see her and tries to hug her, but she is stopped by the team. All the people are then quarantined. During quarantine, Nicole explains that while she was trapped in the portal, she was in a strange world where time moved very slowly. She felt like she had only been gone for a few hours, but on Earth, 3 years had passed. Afterward, the team investigates all the people who had been trapped and discovers they disappeared from different locations and at different times. They had been stuck in various different worlds for years. Next, Maddox is in his office, testing a piece of debris. He throws a chair inside the debris, and the same chair emerges from another debris, indicating teleportation capabilities. He then receives a call, informing him that the body he exhumed is not George Jones. Video evidence shows that George Jones's body was switched. The next day, in a farm, it suddenly begins to rain heavily. Workers around the area who are caught in the rain struggle to breathe as soon as they leave the rain zone, ultimately dying on the spot. Finola and Brian arrive to investigate. An agent tells them that 3 people have died so far, all outside the rain zone. The cause of death is a poison found in the air around the farm field. Dr. John informs them that the atmospheric changes caused the deaths and that the farm's air has severely damaged the victims' organs. To investigate further, Finola and Brian enter the field wearing protective suits. They discover strange plants with mutated flowers growing there. Finola collects a flower in a container, and they proceed to the farmhouse. Inside, they find a group of people who are trapped, knowing they will die if they go outside. A woman named Sophia approaches them, crying, and tells them her child, Arthur, is missing. Finola and Brian reassure her that they will find him. The group also mentions others who went to get their cars to escape, but haven't returned. Brian goes to the car parking area and finds the bodies of the missing people. As he moves forward, he discovers a large piece of debris. While examining it, he spots a child, Arthur, in the rain zone. As Arthur is about to run, Brian catches him just in time, explaining that running away would have been fatal. He brings Arthur back safely, reuniting him with Sophia, who is overjoyed. Meanwhile, Maddox is at home with his family, playing a game with his disabled son. Suddenly, an unknown number calls his wife's phone. Maddox picks up, suspicious, but there's no response. His wife takes the phone back, appearing slightly doubtful about her behavior. Elsewhere, Finola meets a man named Ephraim, Sophia's husband. Finola assures him that his family is safe, but says they can't meet them yet. They take him to the base, and Finola begins testing a flower from the mutated plants. She discovers that the flower processes something other than photosynthesis and produces chlorine instead of oxygen. This ecology is similar to that of other planets present in universe, indicating that the debris is altering the environment to resemble its home planet. Finola requests blood samples from the bodies found on the farm and asks a special team for further research. Finola takes Ifran's blood sample for testing and uses Arthur's blood sample as well. The scientist returns with an urgent message. They must remove the debris immediately. The storm's increase is causing the infected area to grow, potentially affecting nearby towns. However, moving the debris could be fatal for those trapped inside, as they need proper treatment, which requires time. Brian tells Finola that they should focus on saving those they can, not those already infected. Finola disagrees and looks for a way to save the people trapped in the field. After testing blood samples, the researcher informs Finola that the trapped individuals can't be cured due to their mutations caused by the debris. No technology or vaccine currently exists to reverse their condition. Finola recalls something important and suggests using a debris number 489 they found earlier, which had been used successfully to treat cancer patients. Finola approaches Ifran to share her plan, but is stopped by Brian, who reminds her it's a secret mission. Finola agrees not to reveal details to Ifran and asks him to go home. That night, the team waits for the arrival of the debris. In the early morning, Finola receives a call from her boss, Priya, who tells her that her father is still alive. Finola is shocked and doesn't believe it until Priya sends her CCTV footage showing her father getting out of a car. Priya also reveals that Brian knew about this, but kept it from her. Feeling angry and betrayed, Finola feels vulnerable. Finola visits Ifran and tells him about the debris experiment, freeing him to reunite with his family in the storm. He joyfully joins his children, relieved to see them again. When debris 489 arrives, the team begins the experiment. The affected people take their positions, and the debris is used on them one by one. The people recover, and the environment starts to suit them again. Brian is shocked that Finola let Ifran into the restricted area, breaking protocol. Brian confronts Finola about her actions. Finola explains that she did what she felt was right and didn't want to keep anyone away from their family. Thank you for watching. Please give good response to the video so that I will get motivation to upload next part.